Can you survive torture by the CIA? Season 2, Episode 7 of Quantico. LCFLUTTER starts right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh my goodness,
Oh my God.
It is not Friday. It is Sunday. This song is just as torturous with these lights as well. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 7 of LCFLUTTER. I'm your host.
Sensory deprivation. My social security number is everything.
I'm your host, Drexel Heard. You can follow me on Twitter at Drexel Heard. And to my left are my lovely co-hosts, Mr. Timothy Michael.
Hey everybody, I'm Timothy Michael. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Timothy Mike. And to my left,
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel. And check out my blog, catslipstickla.com. My new article is Why I'm Single. Go read it.
Why is she single? That is torturous too. But definitely check out our blog. Welcome to the show, guys. What an episode.
yeah, that episode was. I said
Crazy.
last week's episode was intense, but this
It's starting
episode
to get so much better.
Yeah, we were like grabbing each other. Maybe
Yeah.
it was just me. Drexel was sitting there calmly, but me and Tim were like grabbing each other.
Great episode. As always, we'll start with the comments from last week. But before we do that, make sure you are following AfterBuzz TV on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV and use the hashtag ABTV Quantico and leave your comments below in the chat room. Below in the comment section. And of course, if you're following us in the chat room, welcome to today's show. So listen, last week on Twitter at I am Morel said, I don't even trust Alex, to which I responded, me neither. Seriously, though, I don't trust Alex. As we know on this show, trust no one. And we're going to talk about that because next week's episode, it seems like we just have no idea who to trust. Probably Caleb, because Caleb's coming back. I just want it to happen.
I know, we all do.
The truth says, since when do we stop, this is from last week's episode, since when do we stop arresting people and having a trial? Rule of law, baby, due process, no drone. And that was, excuse me, in response to the drone episode, the kind of morality of dropping a drone on somebody instead of capturing them first, going through the process of that. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it's funny that he brings this up because I actually brought this up on Designated Survivor this past week because they had captured a terrorist in that show, and I was asking my panel if we had thought maybe the whole Osama bin Laden thing could have ended differently and maybe capturing him would have been better. And they stated, you know, when you're in that situation, it's really about the people that are around you, your team. They come first. So, I mean, in response to that comment, I would just say, you know, it's a dog-eat-dog world. If you want to come at us, we're going to come at you just as hard.
Yeah, I would say that I agree. I believe a trial is good. However, if it comes down to losing this possible terrorist or having to kill them, it's a toss-up because are they going to put many more lives in danger? Like, it's a hard decision that you have to make so quickly. So if they had enough evidence, I guess, yes. However, I guess, but coming from me, I would say, yeah, capture them, not kill them. But that's why I'm not in the CIA.
Or do we know she's in the CIA? We don't know what her cover is.
Hiding
her cover
in
is
plain
blogging.
sight.
Exactly. And Jorge Avila says, I prefer how they handle flashbacks. We were talking last week about the kind of back and forth between the present and the past. I prefer to handle the flashbacks. Present day and flash forwards on How to Get Away with Murder, ABC's other show, especially with this season with Who is Under the Sheet. Quantico is just trying too hard.
I feel like in terms of that, I mean, with How to Get Away with Murder, it's a totally different cinematography when they're doing the past and the present. It's like a completely different lighting. It's completely different, like, I don't really know, technical thing. That's why I'm a host. But I feel like in this show, it's all just like these little words in the bottom of the screen. It's like FBI safe house 11 months later. Last time it was like a year later. I get that they're trying to do the time changes, but it is very confusing. I agree.
Yeah, a lot going on. If we can get the chat room up, that'd be great. So just in case people have a conversation in there, let's talk about the episode. So the episode title, LCFLUTTER, another CIA cryptonym. That's been their kind of thing this season, little CIA things. LCFLUTTER is a polygraph interrogation cryptonym for polygraph, basically. which was the whole point of today's episode. The recruits, let's talk about the past first. The recruits are in week 7 in the past. They got a long way to go. It looks like she talked about week 15. I was like, oh man, week 15, y'all aren't done yet? You're only on week 7, Jesus. It seems like, right, we talked about from last week's episode to this week's episode, the theme at this point in their training is all making on-the-spot moral decisions. Let's start where Shelby, when we got into, Shelby pulled an Alex from the first season with Leon in the car.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
she
was the first
did.
thing I wrote down. Shelby pulled an Alex with car sex with Leon and then called herself Jane. I'm like, could you make up a different name?
Right?
Why do you have to be Jane?
Jane
Plain
Foster.
Jane.
Foster, jeez. And then we found out that Miranda wants to switch up the mission because the breach last week with Harry and different things like that. They want to switch it up. They're not getting the information that they need, and they now want Alex and Ryan to go after Owen to find out what is in this wall, which reminded me a little bit of, I know, Tim, you both do Designated Survivor, and it reminded me of the wall in the Capitol. That wall, so that Owen's wall
the
had
room.
the room.
Oh,
The
the
room,
room.
yeah,
The fake
room
room
105.
105 that nobody knew about.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that watch Designated Survivor, there is a room in the Capitol apparently.
Except this wall was really easy to get behind. All you have to do is break in and move it if you know where it is. That's so, like, you'd think if they were hiding, like, really confidential things that are very important, you'd, like, try harder.
Right.
But
And
that
how
was
d-
stupid.
How did she know where that room was? Did I miss something?
It was on the map. They had a
Okay.
map
Oh,
of their
yeah,
house, as one does. And and they saw where the extra wall was. But I would just think if it was such like crucial, important information that cannot get out that they're trying to hide, all she had to do was slide open a wall.
Yeah.
Like not even a passcode.
Or a safe.
Or like try to a safe.
Right.
Like not even a safe. They just have it behind a fake wall.
But it seems that Ryan had a separate mission, and we saw that at the beginning of the episode, and then we saw it at the end of the episode, and I don't think we got a clear idea of what his mission was, but it seems that his mission is all about Leon. I think they're tying him into Shelby's. This is what happened at the end of the episode. I feel like they're tying Ryan into Shelby's mission on trying to figure out Leon because, is it Raina or Nima? Nima. That's my thing. I just never remember. I
Drexel's
think I
thing.
asked it during we were watching,
He
and I was like,
did.
is it Raina or Nima?
Raina actually wasn't in this episode.
She wasn't.
No, or was she?
Drexel doesn't know.
Or was she? So Nima believes that Shelby needs to now come up with some sort of alibi or a different sort of cover with Leon now that she's kind of infiltrated that. Again, we always talk about Shelby kind of leading with her emotions first and on a lot of these missions. So I thought that was a really good. I feel like Nima has always been the recruit that's been like the realist, where she's like, I really want just to do the work, and everybody else is worried about sleeping with folks in cars. Or is Shelby just playing both sides, and she just wants everything, like somebody said last week, having her cake and eat it too? I don't know. The main mini task this week was the polygraph. They had to do enhanced interrogation techniques. Are you going to give up your secrets through physical, mental, emotional? They're going to push them to the physical, mental, emotional brink. And can you withstand that? Have you guys ever had to go through a polygraph?
No, have you?
Yeah, have you?
Never in my life.
I was like,
You
oh,
asked like
well,
it was like, have you guys ever had to
Yeah,
go through
I mean,
polygraph?
except for that one time
It's
that
natural.
I was on Maury. And when would I ever? I didn't-
I was like,
The
yeah,
lie detector
all
test
the time.
has confirmed that is a lie. Yeah, could you guys pass a polygraph?
No, Alex
I'm a
can't even
terrible-
pass.
No, I'm a terrible liar.
Me
you guys.
too. I would like my heart. Oh, I couldn't do it. I'm no Ryan.
But I feel like
Yeah.
if you're a good actor, you could figure out how to lie your way through. I mean, that's what actors do all the time.
I feel
Yeah,
like-
but can they lie their way through a polygraph?
Yeah, I think if you can breathe properly. you
Isn't
kinda
it more
slow
than
your
just
breathing.
that, though?
But I think if you focus and you're breathing and you have a good story and you don't like, you can, one of the things that Owen did say was, a person who can't pass a polygraph are usually the ones who stick to the same story over and over again. And if you're constantly like saying, okay, giving more information about the story, then yeah, you're going to have a better chance. If you make a broad enough story, yeah, you're going to be able to pass it. At least I would think so. Not that I have experience. in
You're
that.
like, I know.
I don't know. So the recruits did pretty well with that. I think pretty much everybody passed that because they needed to get to the main task, which was breaking Owen. So let's talk about this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different interrogation tactics that they can use to break a subject. Loud music, which we started at the beginning of the show with Rebecca Back. I would probably break after having heard that song over and over again playing. Maybe they should have played that song.
I know.
Owen would have
That
broke
would
at
have
the
cracked
beginning.
him after a
That'd have
couple
cracked him.
hours.
Totally.
A couple hours of Rebecca Black. Sensory deprivation. That's pretty tough. That's a lot of lights and things happening. Extreme temperatures. Now, if you know me,
that's a problem for me.
I talk often about how it takes me a good 10 minutes before I can get in the shower, just because I need to get the temperature right.
In
Like,
the bathroom?
In the shower.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like in the bathroom, like have the steam, like make it a nice temperature in the
no,
bathroom.
no,
I'm
no.
like, okay, crazy.
No, like I have to like put my hand in there. It has to be the
you're
right
one of those
temperature.
people.
I can't just hop into the shower.
See, I know where to turn it on the shower. I give it like 30 seconds. I get in.
I have to like turn the hot water and then turn the cold water, get the temperature right. Takes me in. If it's not right, I can't get in.
No, I'm actually really good with that. If the hot water is off, which happens a lot in my building, unfortunately, because I'm poor, I just jump right in. I don't care if it's cold.
Oh, see, I can't take a cold shower.
Yeah, I can't take a cold shower.
But I also don't spend like 15 minutes going, this is perfect.
Listen, it is needed. It's the only way I can take a shower properly. I'm like, no, that's too hot. Then I have to get out. Then I have to do it all over again. It's a very tough cycle.
We learned so much about you.
Stress positions. I'm always stressed out when I've done yoga once. That would stress me out.
Yeah. They're like
stress
go in
position.
dog pose
Yeah.
for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'll tell you what it is.
Tell you what it is. Yeah, I'll just roll over.
I feel like
Tell
that
you
would
what-
be the hardest for me is the stress positions.
Yeah.
I
ooh.
have a real hard time in confined spaces or like without like if I'm like this, it's very hard for me to move. I get freaked out.
Me too. That's why, like, have you heard of the tiny house trend?
No, I don't know what that
In
means.
Canada, there's like these like
I
tiny
don't wanna know
houses,
that.
and they have stairs to the bedrooms up by the roof, and it's not tall enough for you to like stand up. That would make me go crazy. I am claustrophobic, so any type of small spaces I couldn't do.
You know what's like a stress position? I don't know if you guys watch Survivor, but some of the immunity challenges that they have them do,
Oh, yeah.
like individually, those are stress positions, and I just think like they go hours. on
Last
that
week's
show, and I'm
episode
like,
where they had to kind of hold the thing over their head before the bucket fell off. If you guys are watching, if you guys are Survivor fans, but last week's challenge was their immunity challenge was to hold the thing over your head and the bucket falls on you. If not, you're out. Whatever.
I need
and
a
they had
nap
to
just
hold
thinking
that.
about that.
Yeah, that stressed me out. I could
like
never do
that.
this.
I mean-
I'd be a bad Survivor player. I'd be out of Survivor
I'd
day one.
lose.
I'd be like, actually, I'll go. I'll go right now.
First, you'd be like, "What's the shower situation?"
Right. Is the water too hot? The water is too hot right now. No, it's too cold. I can't do it. I would just never take a bath in Survivor. And then the last one was endurance exercises. I mean, that's just basically going to the gym
Yeah.
3-4 times. I mean, basically everybody in LA would be able to do that.
yeah, pretty much.
So that would not work on people that live in LA. That
Yeah.
particular interrogation tactic.
Nice try.
So try again. So the main mission was to break Owen to figure out what his alias was, find out where the agency hid the body. Like they kind of got eventually. So the mission was to get the alias, but I felt like by the time that they got what they wanted, the other half of that was like where the bodies were. Like
Yeah.
I was like, what's the point? Your thing is to get his alias out for something else.
Yeah,
but
and
then
they
they
never
just kind of stopped
dropped
that.
it.
They kind of dropped that out of the thing. I
Yeah.
thought that was really weird. And then the recruits, like I said, like we talked about last week, were having a moral issue with the torture thing. They went through different interrogation tactics. Did you guys think that they went too far? Like, did they not go far enough too early on? Because
I think this is what they're experimenting with or setting up in these last 2 episodes. Because in the last episode with the whole drone thing, Alex had, you know, some hesitancies with Lee. And then in this episode, she has the hesitancies about, you know, torturing Lydia to get to Owen. So I feel, and it's building up this tension between her and Ryan. So I feel like that's going to come to a head at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why, like, in the present flashbacks, in the present,
in the future, present, whatever,
yeah,
the
whatever that
blue
is.
era.
Yeah, that's why her and Ryan are having this thing. At least that's what they showed in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I do think they went too far by like my standards. I couldn't imagine being Lydia, like an instructor, and then not having a say whether the students torture me because we didn't make that like a clear guideline. She couldn't say no. She was saying no. They're like, no, this is part of the lesson.
Right.
That's terrifying.
Was it just me, or did anybody think that Owen wasn't gonna give it up for Lydia, give up his alias for Lydia?
I think that that Owen was, because he wants information out of Lydia.
Oh,
You know what I
think he
mean? Like, I
used
think
it?
he was trying to like, oh man, I still need Lydia, and like now she's not gonna, like, I'm being used as a pawn for her, and now she's really not gonna trust me because I, you know.
Yeah, and also, yeah, because then he can use that whole
Or at least
like
he thinks he goes, that kind of reverse psychology on her.
Yeah, well, that's what he was immediately trying to do after. He's like, oh
Yeah.
I see how much I care about
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
So if she didn't have any information that he wanted, he probably would have let her go. They, I guess, because I wrote down, they held Owen initially for 15 hours with noise, temperature, and sleep deprivation. And then Harry went...
I don't like that Coldplay joke, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. When he was like, well, just put on Coldplay for a little while.
That's
I love
funny.
Coldplay.
That's
Isn't
funny.
Coldplay like done?
No.
They're still playing.
I
love
thought that
Coldplay.
they ended their band. I thought it's over.
No.
I
They
don't
just
know.
did a song with Beyonce called Hymn of Something,
gosh.
and it's really good.
Oh,
The truth says Ryan is bad, Miranda's bad, Nima's bad. They're all bad.
they're all
I
bad.
still don't even trust Alex. I'm telling you, I don't trust Alex. I think Deanna's bad too. Shit, me too. And then, so Harry goes in first. What was really weird to me, and maybe it was, I don't know if it was weird to you guys, they threw Harry in first, and I thought they were supposed to go in.
Harry volunteered to go first.
Right, but my what I'm saying is that Harry goes in first, but I thought they were all supposed to go in individually to see who could crack Owen. But then they all started going in as a group.
Yeah. Also, isn't Harry already an operative?
He's
In
MI6.
MI6.
He's MI6, but the only people that know are Ryan and Alex.
Yeah, I know that. But like, if is that just part of his character that I guess he's playing because he's undercover, that he would just go in first knowing that wouldn't work? Like, wouldn't he know?
But I think that Harry is just an arrogant British person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that I think that that's just his personality, and he's just going to take the
like,
lead.
I
And
got this.
I think he's going to, yeah.
I think that
that's
he
just what
really
it
thought
is.
that that was going to work.
Yeah,
Oh,
which is why he
okay.
tried that quid pro quo thing. He said, "What are
Yeah.
you doing? I don't want to do this," and then he kind of gave up. Whatever. And then they got to the 25 mark. They did some extreme temperatures, and then they started doing some borderline waterboarding on Owen, which I thought was really interesting. And then at the 32-hour mark is when they bring in Lydia. Yeah, back to what you were saying on Lydia. I don't know if using Lydia, like, I would have said, "Hey, we've got your daughter." I don't know if I would have brought Lydia in.
No.
I think I would have like put Lydia on a camera and said, "We're gonna torture Lydia if you don't give up." Like, I don't know if I would have gone as far as to bring Lydia in a room and like show.
Well,
But
that,
they,
Lydia.
Alex did warn him. Alex did
No,
say
she didn't.
that.
No, not very specifically though. She didn't say, "Hey, they have Lydia. You might want to figure it out." She just said they're going too far, but she didn't really tell Owen like what they were up to.
no, I agreed with exactly how they proceeded with how they handled Lydia, and even Lydia agreed with it afterwards. You know, she told Owen, you know, this is what happens in the field. It's not the worst thing that ever happened to me, and you cracked as soon as I was waterboarded, like what, 3 times, and that just goes to show that even if they had Lydia on a camera outside the room and they were like, "We're gonna torture Lydia, tell us what your alias was," you know, he probably wouldn't have said anything because he waited until she was waterboarded like 3 times before giving anything up. So I don't think that would have worked. I liked how they handled the whole Lydia situation.
What did you think?
I thought it was terrifying. I'm gonna stick to that. If I was in Lydia's position, like, I didn't sign up to be tortured in this class, and she, like, it wasn't like they said nothing's off limits. You can torture any other person to get to me. They didn't say that. but they also didn't say you couldn't. And so imagine being in Lydia's position where you can't really say no. She did, and then they still took her, and like they wouldn't have stopped if he didn't crack.
But I mean, come on. She was, first of all, she has been an operative in the field. And she even
said
said
that
it
wasn't-
afterwards, right? That's not the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And she only had a little bit of water poured on her face for like a little while. It was not that bad. Like, you're making it seem like
She was drowned. They were drowning. When they do that, you can't breathe and you get all the water.
Yeah, but it was like 2 minutes.
We're gonna next week. We're gonna practice.
But here's the thing.
me.
Waterboard. I mean, and what they did to Lydia was actual waterboarding. And according
What is
to
it called?
waterboarding.
Boarding?
Waterboarding.
Boarding. Like that
boarding.
sounds like a fun activity. And
It sure is fun to somebody, but
practice
not
on
the
you
people.
next week instead of me.
Here's the thing: waterboarding to the United States has been outlawed. Is like illegal. It's an illegal technique by the CIA. And
it's not good.
right, and which is what the Bush administration was using on terrorists in Abu Ghraib and in Guantanamo Bay, and so they outlawed, and so it became an illegal thing.
Yeah.
And this is what we saw on TV. CIA is actually still using waterboarding, and they will do by any means necessary. And it actually turned out that Diana, because there were two characters that had some initial conflict with from a moral standpoint. Sebastian had a religious kind of step back to that, and we'll get to Sebastian in a bit because he was annoying the shit out of
He
me.
was so annoying this episode.
And then Diana, who what we learned had come from a region where her background.
Harari.
Yeah, and that was weird because I thought she was a lawyer. I'm like, girl.
I called this last episode when I saw the photos. Remember, you guys? And I said, oh, that was her adopted. She must have been adopted because her parents look different in the college photo than in her childhood
you
photo.
did say that.
Right. So I actually really liked the character development that they did on Diana this episode. I think I have a little bit more respect for her as an agent and a person, knowing that she's been through this traumatic experience and she's still like this really beautiful and smart, intelligent person afterwards. I really like Diana now.
Yeah. I mean, I like Diana, and then at the end, you kind of saw that she's clearly grappling with some things. She tried to pour that water on her hand. Maybe it was to see if she could actually withstand some of the extreme temperatures.
No, I think that she's got a little bit of post-traumatic stress syndrome or
That's what I'm saying.
PTSD because she just doesn't.
She doesn't feel.
She doesn't
She's a little
feel.
numb.
That made us cringe.
Yeah. I mean, I
You're
could never do
losing
that
that.
because, I mean, I could barely get in the shower without hot water rolling on my back.
definitely
That's
too hot for
still be
Drexel.
too hot for me. So they ended up finding out or getting out of Owen what his alias was, Jim Dowd. Didn't really use anything. I mean, like I said, it just kind of ended. It was Jim Dowd. Hey.
Yeah, it gave us nothing.
The other thing, a couple other things that happen. Alex goes to Owen's house, almost gets caught by Lydia, but then Harry's in the other house and he sees what happens. Alex ends up finding some phones. I thought they were drives.
I
thought they were
I was
drives
like, oh
as
my
well.
God, the drives from the present are in Owen's house. That's what I thought.
as well. They looked exactly the same. I
Yeah.
didn't get the whole phone.
That's why I was confused.
And they weren't the same phones that we're seeing in the future, right?
No.
No.
They're like flip phones,
They're like-
but they look
yeah.
like drives.
But I thought they were drives.
It's confusing.
Yeah, it
like
was-
make them razors or like iPhones. Make them something we'll know.
Oh my gosh. Razors.
Remember
Oh
the
my gosh.
razors?
High school days.
Hello,
I would
Moto.
have been like, that's a phone.
Yeah, so then Harry ends up helping Alex.
yeah.
I mean, he could have easily been like, remember that time in the hotel?
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's true.
remember
You're
that?
screwed.
Yeah, you're screwed. Yeah, that could have definitely happened. So then they go find out, and now they kind of have an idea of what's in Owen's house. But the last big thing that happened in the past was the Harry Sebastian kind of tit for tat this episode, which was really annoying because it was like Sebastian like bubbling to the top before the end when he ends up like trying to. I said he pounced on.
Yeah, it
on
was
Harry.
and he was like so stiff about it.
Yeah,
But-
it's I mean, I understand how closeted people can feel. I mean, that is a lot for somebody, especially when you're in a hyper masculine environment like the farm, and you don't know who to trust at that point. And but Harry and Sebastian had a moment that I thought was really interesting because Sebastian thinks that Harry wants what he can't have, and Harry thinks Sebastian can't get what he wants, which is why Sebastian's always lashing out. Did you guys? Who do you think is right?
I actually want to kind of touch up on that a little bit more on a deeper level because that actually stood out to me a lot when he was like, when he had said you can love God and yourself. They're not exclusive. I thought that was actually really powerful because
I agree with that.
That's a battle that a lot of people in the LGBT community have with themselves, is if they love God, they can't love themselves, or if they love themselves, they can't love. It's like this back and forth thing, and it shouldn't be that. And I feel like the show touching up on that was pretty powerful.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that moment. I love, Sebastian, yes, annoyed the crap out of me this episode. Like, every single time you thought he'd shut up, he didn't. Like, he just kept pushing buttons. However, it's clearly not affecting Harry because he knows where he's coming from, which I actually like Harry a lot for that. The fact that he's not like, he will not say anything hurtful or cruel back unless Sebastian pushes it too far, which is when he went on that spiel about like, you like see me when I go to the shower, you wait till I change. That I don't remember exactly what he said. The crack,
I was dying.
But that, and the thing is, yes, I understand why Harry went that far, because Sebastian would not shut up. It gets frustrating. We were frustrated.
Yeah.
Right, and I mean, at this point, I don't even know why Sebastian is trying to hide it. Since everybody knows,
and no one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares.
They talked about it in the bar last episode. You know, they talked about it in the bar. You know, there were so many opportunities for everybody on the farm to be like, Sebastian, you're gay. We don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody says anything.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why Sebastian keeps harping on this, as if it's gonna somehow get out.
And that dart game in the beginning of the episode, I'm like, what?
It's like a tense game of darts.
I'm sorry, you can shoot like a target from like 100 yards off, but you can't
throw a dart.
A dart
That's
at a bullseye.
funny.
I was so frustrated. I was like, what's happening right now?
I love that they would like Alex got a bullseye when she like dissed Ryan. She's like, first she like missed it, and then she's like, well, it clearly didn't mean that much. Bullseye.
Oh my gosh! At the end of the part of the past, Lydia questioned Owen's competency in terms of being a teacher, which I thought was really interesting, because she's like, if you can break that easily, are you sure you can be an instructor? And then Ryan gets a phone call. Ryan gets knocked out because I guess he was going after Leon. He ends up getting knocked out.
Was that a past thing or was that a future thing?
That was a past thing.
Wait, Ryan got a call from Leon?
No. I'm saying so at the end, Ryan went in with Shelby and Nima. Yes. Then they initiate the Leon situation because Shelby now texts Leon. Yeah. Then Ryan, apparently, I'm going to assume, went after Leon in whatever way, because that was a part of their mission.
You think he went after Leon?
I think that whatever they were trying to do was surveillance on Leon or whatever.
Oh,
and then that's how he ends
that.
up. That's how because that's the only thing that could have mattered. I mean, that's the only thing, to me, that's the only thing that could have happened, because that's the only mission that was active at the time, which was Shelby saying, Leon, can you meet me at such and such place? And then all we see is fast forward to Ryan being knocked out. So where else was he going?
I think that was supposed to be left a complete mystery to the audience. I don't think it's connected to Leon, only because I think they would have made it more clear if that's what we were supposed to think.
No. I'm saying that Ryan might have gone after Leon and then got intercepted along the way.
Oh, see, I totally get where you're coming from. I just think that like where Ryan was in between the meeting with Nima, Shelby, and just Nima and Shelby.
We're going to start calling them Rima.
Rima and Shelby, because we don't know. Nima and Shelby to where we saw him at the end of the episode. I think it's supposed to be right now a complete mystery. We could go off the hunch that it was maybe to go after Leon because of the surveillance with Shelby or whatever, but we are also assuming that they were talking about Leon because Shelby stayed behind and didn't go with Alex.
She texted Leon and said, and then he
got... with that, yes. But that was like because of her and Nima, I thought, talking about, well, then make that, you got to figure out your place, whatever. Yeah, right. I thought she was just working now. This is what I got from that. I thought that's still separate. I thought Nima was working with Ryan, which is one handler, meaning we like never see. And then I thought Shelby was now doing her own work because Alex isn't doing anything. And then she was doing this like research and building her alias or whatever.
Right, but
and then
why was Ryan in the room when Shelby texted Leon?
Well, they didn't see the text, did they?
Yeah, we saw the text.
We saw the text, but
and
they
then
didn't
Leon
see the text.
saw the text.
Well, Leon saw the text, but I'm saying...
And Shelby said, and then Nima said, go ahead and do it. That was what happened at the end of that episode. Nima said, okay, go ahead and do it. And then she texted Leon.
I don't know. I agree with Renee. I don't think that Ryan being knocked out at the end of the episode is connected to Leon at all.
I don't think it's connected to Leon. I'm saying that he might have gone to surveil Leon,
That's still
and then
connected to
what I mean,
Rio.
though.
That's
That's
still
what I mean.
connected to
connected.
Leon, though. But I don't think that's the case.
We'll see what happens, because then there was a syringe next to Ryan, so obviously somebody drugged him. He gets a call and says, "You've been selected," which leads me to believe that somebody, now is the first time we're starting to see people be recruited. What I think is people be recruited by the AIC.
Yeah, and I think it's too easy to say that Owen called him, even though Owen stepped out for a phone call at the exact moment.
Right, yeah, that was a red
because you
herring.
cannot trust if they don't show Owen actually making the call to Ryan, then that means that we didn't get that piece of information. They want us to believe that we got that piece of information.
Yep.
So the truth says that Ryan left after he didn't see the text. That was, I need to go back and watch that then, because I wasn't really.
Yeah, I thought they were
must have-
completely separate. Because here's the
Yeah,
thing, that
yeah.
would contradict my theory with. I mean, then again, maybe I'm just trying to hold on to it. But I think that the reason why we haven't seen Nima and Ryan's meetings and have not been like involved in them is because that is a separate mission that's supposed to be kept secret until whatever finale they're going to have. I don't
Well, they only have
trust
one
Ryan
episode
right
left.
now. True. Well, for the winter finale.
For the winter
finale,
finale. So he was selected. So we'll see what happens the next episode. In the present, though, Miranda, we see Miranda at the beginning of the episode doing some more shady stuff, pulling the SIM card out of her burner phone.
Well, that's
not
because
the
Alex
main
was
phone.
calling her, and she was like, "You're not supposed to be calling me." Remember, she said in the last episode that phone's not supposed to be calling them. So
Right,
that's
but
what
she takes it out, but she looked real shady doing it. So that was
Yeah,
really
she
really
did.
weird to me.
because she's shady.
Yeah, she was very shady. It was very shady. And then Alex calls Shelby, and then Shelby now tells everybody that Alex is still inside. Alex then ends up getting caught by the AIC. That was stressful.
Alex has gotten caught like 4 times already. guys.
Alex always gets caught.
Always.
Okay,
She's not a very good operative.
She's not.
you know who was also not a really good operative? Shelby.
No, I
she's
like
an extra-
Shelby.
No, this is why she's not, because
Okay.
she had her suspicions against with Miranda. She got kind of proof with that email that Miranda's bad. Then this episode, Miranda was so shady. She goes to make out with her boyfriend in front of everyone,
Paul.
and then magically the phone goes into Paul's jacket pocket or wherever, or her phone, and like no one thinks, that's suspicious. It makes me mad. I think Shelby needs to be smarter when she knows Miranda is already a suspect, how she's acting.
I don't remember seeing like Paul's bag in Miranda's office, Miranda having time to do any of that. Like I
They were
thought
just
when I saw the bag, I thought that was Miranda's purse.
Yeah,
And I was
the
like,
phone in it, me
I was
too.
like, it's over. They got Miranda. So then the AIC ends up throwing Alex. Somebody in the room with Alex ends up being this guy Mike, who
Mike from
Mike from
Pensacola.
Pensacola. He's an attaché with some kids. Alex thought he was, part of them. Then they come in, and what happens? They shoot him in the head.
I was like, what is
I was like, oh man, that is not going to be good for him, for Alex. And then blood everywhere, and it was crazy. And then they drag him out. Then they throw in Deanna. But that's the second time we've seen Deanna, the AIC kind of bring Deanna in. And I know, again, we don't trust anybody, because the last episode we saw Deanna get pulled into the interrogation room.
Yeah.
So then you're like, why are they using Deanna again?
Well, they took her, and now she's being used for whatever they took her for. This is probably what.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't have Alex captured at that point.
But last week they were like, okay, they could have used anybody, but they used Deanna. They used Deanna again, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, Deanna said that word. Well, they didn't let her back in, right? They just took her.
They took her, and then they brought her in. I'm saying we've seen Deanna now be taken by the AIC twice for 2 different reasons. One for an interrogation last week, and then again this week to be thrown in with Alex. So it leads me to believe that Deanna is a part of something, and we're going to find out that next week. But what I also wrote down was when they were about to torture Deanna, or what we thought they were about to, first of all, they stuck her.
First of all, they literally, that moment between Alex and Diana was so good, because she literally was like, they're trying to get information out of me, and Diana was like, well, you know that we're not gonna be able to give it to them. And then she was like, stay strong. And she's like, you too. I was like, get it. I was
Right.
like,
I know.
femme fatale over
Right.
here.
They end up trying to torture Deanna, and then when I was listening to the person talking, I was like really trying to listen to that person's voice. The person who had the hammer, it sounded like Sebastian.
Really?
To me, it did. Like it was sounding like a familiar voice. I was like, that voice sounds really familiar.
I do agree with you because it was 3 guys in the room, and
And
then
then
they
3
left,
guys, and those three-
then those 3 guys came back, and
I
I was
was
like,
like, oh,
and then
that's
he was
not
like,
obvious.
Leon faked a seizure, and I was like, that
They
was easy.
wouldn't let anybody out just because they faked a seizure.
Right,
It just wouldn't happen.
Weird, yeah, that happened really quickly. I was like, wait, this doesn't make sense.
I didn't even put those together. Wow. I don't think all 3 of them are bad. Do you?
Sebastian, Leon, and Harry. I don't know. I mean, I just
Curly,
agreed
and
with
Mel.
I just agreed with Drexel in that moment. It was just 3 guys came in, they left for 5 minutes, and then all 3 of them came back in. We're like, oh, Leon faked a seizure. We're getting out of here.
Yeah, because then you're like, okay, first of all, where did they get firearms? If they escaped, where could they get firearms? And how do they find Alex?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as you're just like,
There's a lot.
there's too many coincidences for you to be like, well, those 3 are pretty terrible people.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I just hope they're not all bad that have taken her. I mean, it's possible. I think Deanna has a good chance of being bad because I think that whoever was torturing her knew that she'd crack before doing anything really terrible to her. Like all they did was stab her in the arm, as far as we know, which is still terrible, and I wouldn't go through with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's very possible that she knew Alex would crack if they were going to do something that would, especially with Alex's history at the farm, that Deanna knows Alex does not push too far like the other people at the farm would. So maybe they just were, because they're always 10 steps ahead, maybe they knew Alex would crack before they cracked her back and kept her from being or made her paralyzed or whatever.
Apparently on the Quantico Twitter account, they showed a deleted scene of Leon faking the seizure with Harry and Sebastian. I'm wondering if they deleted that scene as a part of the story, as like a teaser, like they put it up to show that it was a teaser, or if it was another red herring so that we would not smell the scent of Harry, Sebastian, and Leon as a part of this.
Maybe.
Ooh.
But going back to your theory about why they kept bringing Diana in twice, I'm thinking maybe in the past Diana and Alex have gotten really close, and the people who are behind the masks, are part of the AIC, are were part of that group, and they know how close her and Alex are, so they're using her as Alex's weak point. That's just one of my theories.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that, but I don't know because we tell Diana being I don't know. There's too many Diana. Somebody's got to be bad, and all my eyes are pointing at Deanna right now.
Yeah, Deanna would be, because Harry, I don't
I
believe
feel like
Harry's
Deanna's
bad.
calling the shots, and then Harry, Leon, and Sebastian are just along for the ride.
You think they're all bad?
Well, I mean, this episode was very Deanna heavy.
Yeah.
From last episode and then this episode. You got last episode, it ended with Deanna. This episode, it ended with, it ended with Deanna again. Not only in the house, but then again in the torture scene, in the interrogation scene. There's a lot of Deanna.
And she was always on
She was the one who did the CIA thing, who was waterboarding, who was calling the shots.
And she was always on the phone in the beginning of the season with whoever that mystery person was. So, I mean, I get where you're going, but I really like Deanna now, so I'm hoping that she's not bad.
The thing is, okay, to be honest, Deanna this season reminds me a lot of Shelby last season. She had her mysterious phone calls, and then everything was kind of figured out by the end of her storyline.
Maybe Deanna has a sister.
Yeah, maybe she's a sister. That
half sister.
that must be it.
Sister. Maybe it's Shelby's. Your half sister Shelby. She's the one that we've been talking to the whole
But
time.
like that suspicion aspect of her, like just reminds me of Shelby. That I feel like it's led to just make us think. But here's the thing: this season they also made it so clear that we can trust nobody. So at the same time, who would surprise us at this point? Aside from like Ryan, who I really don't trust at this point. But there we go. Who's gonna surprise me?
Which
Alex.
leads us to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Sensory deprivation in here. All right, so we got one episode left. What do you guys think? Who like if you had to choose maybe 2 characters, who do you think is behind this whole thing?
You think we're going to find that out next episode?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. But I just, who is it?
I would say Ryan, the shock that they're going for is either has to be Alex being bad or twisting in a way something that we don't know about Alex that's like huge right now, or Ryan being behind it. Those are the only shock factors at this point that could even exist. Who else is shocking? No one else would even like faze me. Unless Caleb's behind it, and I'd really appreciate that because I'd love him to have some screen time.
Well, excuse me, what Vice President Haas is about to take over the presidency.
Yeah.
So, I
We're
don't know.
gonna see some Caleb.
Well, obviously, if his mom's going to be vice president,
He'll be there.
he'll be there. I love it. Tim?
I'm gonna say, oh gosh, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm gonna stick to my prediction for last episode, which was, Miranda, Nima, and Reyna are all in this together, and it's gonna come out that they're good and they're really trying to stop whoever's behind it. I think Lydia is the mastermind behind this whole thing.
Really?
Yeah.
See, she wouldn't shock me. I want to be like shocked.
You know who I think it is?
No.
Who?
Shelby.
No.
Ooh.
That would be shocking.
Ooh, that would be shocking.
I don't think Ryan's bad. I mean, like somebody said, I don't trust Alex. But
Be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.